Hello and welcome to the Chris Chan Update. My name is Gibby for Lore Cattle Ranch. Please take a look.
Yeah.
What's your spirituality?
All religions. I'm multi-religious, and I got the rainbow aura and everything.
The story behind this most recent episode in Chris Chan's public tomfoolery actually begins several months ago. Despite what this Reddit post says about Chris Chan being sighted in North Carolina with a young girl, the young girl in question is actually a 30-year-old woman named Flutter. At least Flutter is what Chris would want us to refer to her as. As of right now, her real name is unknown, as are her motivations for spending time with Chris. The two have been photographed in public together quite often for the last couple months, but there's actually no indication that the two are an official couple. Chris is very close with her, physically touching her, but there have been no sights of public displays of affection between the two. The best we have is a tweet from the Otaku King saying that yes, they are a couple. The community has other names for her besides Flutter, which itself is a reference to Fluttershy from My Little Pony, including Cabbage Patch, which is short for Cabbage Patch Kid because she's so short, and Egg. While I could not find the origin of the term Egg, I'm pretty sure it refers to the fact that she looks kind of like Mae Whitman. She played a character named Anne on Arrested Development whose nickname was Egg. If there's some other origin to the name, then I'm not sure, but it just makes too much sense to me. Anyway, Chris was seen multiple times in public with Flutter before this random shot from a stalker in North Carolina. Chris Chan sighting in Cary, North Carolina with young girl. Once again, it's actually Flutter. The two of them were buying tickets to an upcoming convention. That convention being Animate in Raleigh, North Carolina, which took place the weekend of January 5th, 2024. The clip you saw at the beginning of this video came from an Aqua Teen Hunger Force panel at that very convention. I'll play the rest of it now.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine. So my favorite episode of all time would have to be Video Ouija. Split up, circle, sounds. But hey, as opposed to what was portrayed in the show, the video games, the one video game really, and the movies, how do y'all feel about the metaphysical and everything along that lines?
The metaphysical?
Yeah.
What's your spirituality?
All religions. I'm multi-religious, and I got the rainbow aura and everything.
So they're.
It's all good, baby.
All right. Well, you know, Christians are always known for their tolerance.
As far as we know, the first day of the convention went off without a hitch. Chris attended this panel and was photographed along with this fan. I've decided to blur out this person's face because they have since deleted their Reddit profile. Not just this post, but their entire profile, so clearly they do not want to be associated with Chris. What this does show is that Chris was walking around on Friday, being recognized by people in attendance, and appearing on film. Also, he's dressed like Ahsoka. When you get to the con expecting crowds and it's literally empty, and you're filming a random TikTok and Chris Chan just like... It's kind of funny that he's dressed as Ahsoka. This reminds me of that documentary that George Lucas photobombed.
But it's a molten salt process. They're dissolving this thing in a molten salt, and they're doing electrochemistry on it. Why don't they call it molten salt?
Chris has the stunning ability to appear in any form of media as a secondary character. Chris Chan is casually there. He's everywhere at all times. Did you take a picture with them? Not gonna lie, we didn't even realize he was in the vid until we posted it, crying emoji. The real story doesn't begin until the next day, Saturday, January 6th. We have this post from GJob9091 on the Chris Chan Sonichu Reddit page. Captain's log, stardate January 6th, 2024 at around 1:53 p.m. Chris Chan was seen with her sweetheart surrounded by what seemed to be the convention jerk-ops. Here's another image of Chris speaking with the convention guards. Another user, a little while later, has a picture of Chris standing outside the convention hall. After seeing Chris multiple times yesterday at various panels, it appears that he was kicked out of the con. A friend snapped this image of Chris and Flutter after being escorted out of the convention center. Chris supposedly was complaining his con wasn't going good anyways. I personally scoured through hours of footage of this very convention that can be found on YouTube and couldn't find anything of Chris Like, I literally paused frame by frame. That might be an exaggeration. Looking through backgrounds trying to find the Ahsoka headdress, and I could not find Chris in any of the panels, or even just walking around the artist alley. So it's interesting that Dead Stargazer says that they saw Chris multiple times yesterday at various panels. As far as I know, no other footage or photos of Chris exist other than these. Some of the comments on these Reddit posts help paint a better picture of what was happening. Update: source for this information is so genuinely my group of friends who witnessed this event. I can confirm that Chris was denied upon entry this morning. Security was in wait for him. There doesn't appear to be an incident that took place. Rather, he most likely was reported to the con ops during the day yesterday. If he is sighted out and about in Raleigh, I will do my best to update. First of all, I need to point out that this person used the word rather correctly, unlike Chris, who uses it in place of the word weather. Secondly, this does mean that there's not going to be any sort of footage of Chris being brought to the front of the convention hall. He wasn't dragged there, he wasn't pseudo-arrested and kicked out. Upon entering, he was not let in. This is obviously a lot less dramatic than the last time he attended a convention when he collapsed on the floor in hedgehog defense mode. Flutter's gotta be like 4'6". She doesn't come to Chris's shoulder and he's 5'10". She's Sonichu's height. Finally, a real injustice on January 6th that the media is willfully ignoring. Ahsoka Season 2 set photos. Chris Chan entered the convention center at around 1:50 p.m., about 40 seconds before my friends and I did, and if I remember correctly, Chris was stopped by security as soon as she walked through the entrance door and into the lobby. My guess is that Chris probably got dragged to the side by the police to avoid a scene, and as my friend was walking away with us, he snapped this photo. We didn't stick around in the lobby for long, so we wouldn't know if Chris threw a fit as she was kicked out or not. Several days later, on January 15th, 2024, Chris released a video called Focused Divine Guidances. The description reads, "Heed my words, one and all." Comments are turned off. Many comments were made when this video was first posted about how Chris looks like he is clearly on some sort of drug. His pupils appear very small, he is not blinking, and he is staring straight ahead. Whether or not this is a drug that was prescribed to him to deal with any of his ongoing issues, or it's something he was taking recreationally, is unclear. The background of this stream is one of his Twilight Sparkle Secret Chipfic folder cards, and it reads, "You win this goal when it is your turn and you are no more than 1 point away from the blah blah of the current
Focused and connected with everything. And I will start off with mentioning, of course, the Animate Rally Convention. Flutter and I, we did attend the Friday, and we were going to attend the Saturday. We were intercepted because, like the Romans back in the days of Jerusalem, false witnesses were born against me, and they were talked about and ratted me out to the organizer of the convention, which that in its entity was quite wrong indeed.
It's unclear exactly what Chris means by this. Obviously, if all the people did were say that Chris, a false offender, was present, then no, they were not bearing false witness against him. I can see why Chris would be upset that he can't go anywhere without people reporting him to the authorities, but as long as no one lied and said that he was touching them again, which again, yes, did happen last time he was at a convention, then no one is lying about Chris, unless of course he is still trying to put forward the idea that telling people he was arrested for what he was arrested for is lying. That him doing what he admitted to doing is lying.
And as you all note, as I have exemplified during the event, I continue to love and keep my calm. I did try to explain, and yet at the moment, the demons were too great in that event organizer, and I feel sorry for that individual and their accomplices that were with them at the time. And despite the efforts of the minority, we did still have a very good weekend, and I was the one wearing the striped socks. So you mention that and think about that as you will.
And that is all the important context from this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to be nice to each other in the comments. Have a great Christian Love Month. I have this shirt available only for a limited time on my Teespring store. And please subscribe to Lore Cattle Ranch for more on the ongoing tragedy of Chris Chan.